have hope. I mean, I've after this long of time, I just don't feel like it's just been so long, and I think if they were okay, then they would have been found by now. But the hardest part is just not knowing. I mean, and my heart just aches, and I miss them so much. I just can't express it, and it's just a tragedy. And I just pray and pray and pray that they'll come home safe.
All right. Chase, what do you got? I hate to keep going. I keep going on you first, Chase, but as it ends up, if I do the last person, whoever went last, if I do them first, then I try not to do that. Doesn't matter. Wait, let me pretend I'm coming back. All right. Greg, what do you got?
So she's shaking her head no. This is late in the 9-day ride. She's covered a whole lot of stuff during this time, and she's gotten away with a whole lot. This is the first time we see this, and it isn't fitting for what she's talking about. So I think she's like, this is coming to an end, because they've been questioning her over and over and over and over. So something negative is rising. Her brows are up again at it's a tragedy. Still no grief. Still no uncertainty, still no questioning. She makes eye contact at please come home. Again, I think it's when she's trying to sell something. And she does a throwaway word, or a fading fact, as you would call it, Scott, at safe. It just drifts off. She knows that's not going to happen. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, so apart from that one moment where she clocks the audience with her eye contact, on the whole, she's in shade most of the time, if not eye blocking most of the time. So again, there's a moment here, if truly you had hope, this would be another opportunity to be going, you got any information? Here's, get it to us. We're in hope, and clocking the audience directly. She's in shade all of the time. She says, about every 2.5 seconds. So that's a lot of, it's quite a longish clip. That's a lot of the word I. She does mention them, again, as a collective, but doesn't mention the kids by name in any way. The main focus of this is herself. That's not what I would expect from somebody who is honestly concerned about their children at this point. She's concerned about herself. And then the use of the word tragedy. It's like it takes a long, long time for a human being to view the drama that they've been through as a tragedy. A long, long time. This is too early for her to be able to pull out of this event and go, look, given all of these elements that were in there, I view this as a real tragedy. So wrong vocabulary to use at this point. Scott, what do you got on this one?
All right. Again, what she's saying, it's her. It's all about her. It's I, over and over and over again. And we're seeing trance behavior here, because I think they've got her against the ropes at this point in this part of their interview. We don't see the whole interview, just this one part. That's why she goes into, and she starts saying the same things over and over, and she's sort of rocking back and forth a little bit and goes inwards, so you can't get to her and ask her more questions. So we call that a trance behavior. Her face seems like it's almost at rest in this thing. It's if you turn the sound off, you may not even know anything's wrong here. Anything she would be worried about anything, because again, we're not seeing anything we should be seeing in here. The whole answer again is focused on her. It's all about her, and that should be if you're watching these things on TV and somebody comes up and you're looking at the parents and they're saying, we don't have our child, this, that, and the other thing. Listen to how many times each one of them talks about themselves and how it's affecting them, and listen to if they focus on that, because 9 out of 10, I'm going to say 8 out of 10 times, that person would have guilty knowledge when they're talking about themselves, and it's about me, and it's about I, and about those things. So when you hear something like that, when you see someone on TV and they're interviewing them and their child has just gone missing, if they're talking about how much they feel about what's going on, pay attention to that. Chase, what do you got?
I love that. And I completely agree. It's such a great and interesting find that I think a lot of people would just kind of brush over, because we tend to think sociologically, if somebody's in pain, that's what they're going to talk about on TV. So it makes sense to most people that if someone's just talking about themselves, they're talking about what they're going through. But it also is a huge red flag. In this video, we see no emotion at all. And she's injecting ambiguity instead of doubt or uncertainty. And let me just talk about the difference really quick. Ambiguity means I'm launching uncertainty into this in a way that one thing could mean this or not mean something, or I'm jumping over pieces. Doubt is comfortable with truthful people. They're fine with saying, I'm not sure, I don't know, I'm really uncertain about this. So think about that different. Innocent people are comfortable with doubt and uncertainty. So in this video, you guys talked about some of these words, but think about how the words that she uses after the word I are injecting some ambiguity in here. And here we have, I mean, and I'm doing this in order. I just, it's just, I think, I mean, it's just, I just. That's in this like super short video. And that's tons of ambiguity being dumped into it. So if someone's injecting ambiguity, that's a big deal. And there's just weird, unusual smile at the very last tiny piece of this clip, which I think you'll be able to see pretty clearly. And Greg, if you would you educate all of us on what you think about her eyes being kind of in this emotional accessing area throughout the video? And just, I was curious what you would, I have it in my notes here to ask you about it.
Well, I honestly think at this point, she's in a bind. She knows she's in a bind. So yeah, is she emotional? Yeah, this is up. That's why I say she's going, I think it's all about her. That's the reason she's using the word I. The reason she's negative in the entire thing. And then she does that throwaway at the end, come back safe. She knows they're not coming back safe. That's just trying to deliver some piece of information along the way. I think her brain is a squirrel in the road right now, and she doesn't know the right thing to say. The reason you're hearing filler words like just, mean, those are things because she's so engaged in how she feels and how dangerous this situation is for her is what I think, Chase. I think it's over for her, and she knows. Yep.
I'm glad you said that, because I think one of the things that we're seeing here is her one of the statistics we see in behavioral psychology is that people who suffer as children, which she did, and she was abused and had a really rough time growing up, they have something called a dissociative capacity. And some things, if stress and hard lifestyle continues, then that person becomes a champion dissociator, to where dissociation becomes, or where we're kind of separating from ourselves or going someplace else mentally, becomes the default stress handling mechanism. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing here, is a dissociative response, which is part of a disorder. It's part of the diagnostic criteria for a histrionic personality disorder, or histrionic disorders. But there's, I think, some other stuff going on here too that we'll eventually get to. That's all I got.
I mean, have hope. I mean, I've after this long a time, I just don't feel like it's just been so long, and I think if they were okay, then they would have been found by now. But the hardest part is just not knowing. Yeah. I mean, and my heart just aches, and I miss them so much. I just can't express it, and it's just a tragedy. And I just pray and pray and pray that they'll come home safe.
Oh, you guys missed
I forgot. I stretched there. I did.
If you like this video, get the full body language breakdown and analysis on our main channel by clicking this video right here.